Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Sty and OAM, and I'm joined by the wonderful, you might be on this side.
One amongst many, who knows, yeah, it's always flipped with cameras, it's always a bit of a bizarre thing, but yes, I'm here too, in the flesh, in the face. Most of you probably haven't seen my face before, probably a bit of a mixed blessing there, but yeah, we're going to talk about the year. It's been a whole year of Overwatch, Stylosa, an entire year of Overwatch. And it started, believe it or not, it started with Jeff Kaplan posting on the forums, you know what the game really needs? It really needs Hero 27. Hero 27, who we didn't know at the time, we didn't know who that was, who is this mysterious hero, would come along and fix so many issues in the game and change everything and make the game so much better. Sty, who is Hero 27?
Brigitte Lindholm! Alright, so Jeff put out a few teasers, didn't he? I think he actually did this was there a dev update about this as well? Anyway, I think he dropped it possibly in some dev updates, but he was saying on the forums, yes, the next hero is meta changing, and all of this stuff was going on. So, guess, well, there was like 50 YouTube videos from all the usual suspects even going, oh, look at this, there's going to be a meta changing hero. What's going to happen? Oh, Josh, what will this meta changing hero do? And as we know, it turned out to be Brigitte, and when she eventually launched, it took a little bit of time for her to cement herself into the game, but as we all know, well, she's still there now. Kind of.
She certainly changed the meta. I mean, you got to remember also at the same time, this was when Mercy had her in like 3 instantaneous reses on Valkyrie. So this was just like January was the apex of the Mercy meta, where she was just flying in, rezzing people instantaneously, and like serious Guardian Angel stuff coming down, picking people up straight away, everyone getting super frustrated at it, everybody getting really annoyed at that one as well. And yeah, eventually that one was slowly replaced, I think in January as well, where it was changed out for then the slow res that we have now, and suddenly Mercy starts fading away. But January also had another big highlight in it, which was the Overwatch League. Finally got started.
Yeah, which is a weird thing. Like it seems to me like this has been going on for ages. Because you guys can see on the wall there behind me, that thing, the Spitfire flight certificate, that is the date of that is the 29th of the 10th, 2017. That's when I did the flight for that. That's when we filmed the announcement video for Spitfire. So it's been a while for me. But yeah, when it started in January, the Overwatch League, I remember they flew out a load of people. Like a lot of the community went out, I think. Yeah, you went. Yeah. Was that one?
No. I wasn't there at the opening. Was I there at the? No, I don't think I was there. No, I was there at the Stage 1 finals. I wasn't there at the opening weekend. I know Ryan and Miska were there, and that's why I was kind of bummed out. Because Ryan and Miska were there, and I didn't get to see them or you. And normally, like these events, like when these events happen for us, it's just like, oh, we get to see all our mates again.
Yeah.
Like that's what these events generally are for us. And it's really, really nice.
Yeah, it's that funny. It's like
so I was kind of bummed out.
Everyone from all over the world just gets going. But anyway, Overwatch League started. And well, I think I was there. What was I doing there? I'm sure I was there for a while there, because that was the first time I went over to see Spitfire. And I was there for a pretty long time. And then we did the whole opening weekend thing. But it was cool to see it. Like everybody was sort of like, "Oh, Blizzard going to be able to pull this off? Is it going to be a massive flop?" So tons of people were watching the launch of Overwatch League, and luckily, it did quite well, and it did quite well for season 1. What happens in season 2? Who knows? But yeah, it was a really big. It was probably the biggest month, really, for the game. As crazy as that sounds, when you look at everything else that happened throughout the year, it's like...
It was risky. A really, really, like, tense time, because for building up to the Overwatch League, like, the entire pro scene had kind of wound down. Like, Blizzard started putting the clamp on a lot of tournaments. You couldn't have tournaments over a certain prize pool, which meant that the pro scene really started sort of declining, I suppose, in anticipation for the Overwatch League coming out. And everyone was like, what is this thing going to look like? What's it going to be? We had the preseason. It was okay. It was pretty good. They showed off all the new tech with that. And then in January, we had the full launch. We had the studio. We had like the massive screen. Everyone was like, oh my God, it looks amazing. It does look amazing. It is amazing. It's incredible. And it launched, and it was really good. Like the Overwatch League overall, I would say, like it gets a thumbs up. There's still problems with it. There's still issues. But the Overwatch League itself is really, really quite solid and very entertaining to watch.
We had Jeff teasing Hero 27. We had Overwatch League kicking off. We had the changes to Mercy. And then where did we go, Josh? What happened then?
Well, instantaneously after the Overwatch League kicked off, XQC got in a spot of trouble for his first fine, basically. Just some inappropriate comments towards another fellow player. I won't go into it too much. I'm sure you can go back and find it. But then we just roll straight onto February, and everyone gets confused at the start of February, right? Because law-breaking, law-changing, ground rumbling changes happen where suddenly D.Va isn't a StarCraft player anymore. And I know a lot of people are still confused by this.
Listen.
Myself included. Probably you included.
Yeah,
probably Michael Chu included.
I am not the biggest Overwatch lore buff. I know you, Josh, know way more than me about this, but I'm just like, even I knew. In fact, what really grilled me with this is there was the whole StarCraft 2 like fake WCS profile for D.Va, which is like their World Championship series, and it's like, oh, here's D.Va, and it's like, oh yeah, she's a StarCraft player, which would have been fine. She even talks about her APM in the game, doesn't she? Now, APM, guys, is actions per minute. So if you play StarCraft, there is an overlay you can bring up which shows your actions per minute. So it's how fast you're typing on inputting commands, right? A high APM usually means that you kind of know what you're doing, but you could just be spamming like A or something, right? But normally the higher the IPM, the faster you're working. It's about kind of being warmed up sort of thing. So D.Va's got all this in the game. And then suddenly Michael Chu comes out with, this is where it's a common misconception. D.Va was a StarCraft pro. Hang on.
Yeah, it's like everyone was like, hang on, wait 1 moment. What did she play then? It's like, oh no, it turns out she played a game much more suited to her mecha flying abilities. Like I don't know, was she playing Mech Warrior? Who knows, right?
Who knows?
No one knows. But
so
yeah, she
weird.
wasn't a StarCraft player, and it's like, well, okay. And you can kind of make sense because like, why would she play StarCraft 2 if it's like 2070 the year or whatever? But then why not StarCraft 4, StarCraft 5, whatever? It doesn't matter. She's like, I mean, people still play Brood War. Brood War's old. People still play that. People could still play StarCraft 2. Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh.
Indeed.
Then we got our first event. Ooh.
Which, so
event.
we had the new map, didn't we, when this event dropped? At the Thailand map. Kind of sad because it was the start of a year of the same events all year again, apart from one event, which we'll get onto as we go along in this video. But yeah, I mean, actually, it had some nice skins this event did. I think the Genji skin and the Zarya skin were quite good from this event. The Pharaoh.
The Year of the Dog. Like, Year of the Dog tends to be consistently pretty good. Like, I don't know about you, but I played quite a lot of that new map, the Capture the Flag. Like, I actually kind of enjoyed it. It was kind of fun to dip in and out of it. It does wear old after a little while, but they made a couple of changes to the Capture the Flag systems where, like, Tracer can't just blink with the flag and stuff like that. So it was kind of fun to play around with it. Also, I think, no, that didn't happen yet. Sorry, I've got so many facts now in my brain as I did research for this that I'm sort of going to get events confused. But yeah, like Year of the Dog, like I'm generally excited for the Chinese New Year event because the skins are generally really good. The animations and stuff are generally very good. There's just a lot of cool concepts they play around with, and like it's a new map as well. I wish that they did more with that new map, or did more with that new map's tile set, I suppose, and just like built a full map, sort of like they did with Rialto, which we'll get to later.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that event it kind of got a bit of a free pass because you sort of like, you're going into a new year and, oh, look, it's the same kind of thing with a little bit more content, and it kind of gave us a lot more hope. Maybe we're going to see more stuff for the extra events as they start coming down the line, or the additional events. And as we know, going throughout the year, with the exception of Retribution, most of them were basically the same, which is kind of unfortunate. Anyway, let's move on. Where do we go next, Josh, after Year of the Dog?
Just very, very quickly, just keeping an eye on like a couple of hero changes. Sombra got her first major change where she can no longer build up off health packs, so lots of rumblings in the pro community because Sombra like used to just camp on 2CP maps, especially build up EMPs every fight. That sort of got changed. Her first sort of real tweaks came in. Hanzo rework starts getting teased out in the PTR, or like people start getting rumblings of storm arrows, jumps, stuff like that. So people start getting excited. Oh, what's Hanzo gonna start looking like? And then finally at the end of February,
Hanzo, it doesn't feel like it's that old to me. Hanzo, it's dead weird. Like it feels more recent than it actually is. I don't know why. I
think that's when they started teasing it, and then eventually they started to get it
on
the PTR. It took them a long time to get it sort of going. No. Then at the end of February, Brigitte Lindholm joins the game, and everyone rejoices and goes, oh my god, and everyone speculates, oh, what does it do? And my speculation that, hey, she's not going to be good enough to be a second healer. She'll probably replace an off-tank or a DPS player. Guess what, guys? Guess what?
I think I said this as well. Somebody needs to go back and check my videos.
We had a video about it.
Yeah, so there you go. We did. Now,
Brig. I think the only thing we were off on it was we thought that an off-tank would be replaced. But it's the DPS that gets replaced instead. So
I remember playing her, right? And I'm like, wow, Like the first game I played with it was on Junkertown. The video's on my channel because I remember like it's really sad. This is the way YouTube is, guys. But like if an event drops or something or it's new content, you need to make videos as fast as possible, right? So you're in there, you're like, okay, let's go, let's play it. And I was playing Brig on Junkertown. And I think I had a pretty good game. Obviously, people don't know what the hell is going on with the hero, and also it's PTR, so like everyone's just all over the place in terms of like skill, and also in terms of what team you're actually going to get. But I remember playing her on Junkertown, and it was just really funny. Like, and I was like, wow, this is such a cool hero. Like, I'm like, playing her like Reinhardt, right? So I'm like on the front line, I'm bashing people, I'm slapping them, which hilariously is kind of how she turned out to be in a really bad way. And it was like, hey, this is good fun. But then I remember after I came off from making that video, I kind of thought, this is a bit easy. This is a bit like, I'm really good with this hero, and I've played it once. You know, that type of thought. I'm like, this seems strange. And I was a little bit worried.
The piece of advice I always give to people with a new hero or a new thing, a new toy, is if you feel overpowered the first time you use it, it's probably broken as hell. If you feel good the first time you use it, it's probably broken as hell. And yeah, Brigitte sort of left that impression on a lot of people when she started sort of getting shown off. So yeah, well, Brig's now part of the game. In March was pretty quiet. XQC got banned again, returned to Dallas Fuel for about all of 5 minutes, and then put a very poor emote at a very poor time in a chat, and that sparked an entire controversy. Again, XQC gone once more from the Overwatch League, rip XQC. April saw probably an event that's very near and dear to your heart, because you got to go to Blizzard to see it first. Oh, let's see if we find stuff. Of course, talking about Overwatch Retribution, ladies and gents. So, the sort of the second big event of the year, and probably the biggest event of the year overall. Like a really, really cool one as well. Lots of really good skins. Ooh.
This is D.Va. That's D.Va off the model. Like, I use it to put all my I was going to say shit, but I mean really nice stuff that I collected from Overwatch over the years. So, look, one of them, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Look, that's what Josh is going on about. That's the Overwatch Archives event, and I wrote my name on it. I was like,
you want
I'm
a good
Sty.
One of these? You want one that Sty doesn't have? I don't know if that's showing up, if the date's showing up.
No, look at that. It's a relic.
But this is February 26th, 2015, Overwatch hands-on event.
Oh, my Lord.
Very few people have one of these.
Well, actually, do I have here? You know what? We're going on a mystery tour. We're going on a mystery tour. You've opened the can of worms. God. So, D.Va. I'll put D.Va back.
In the flesh. He's good. So yeah, we get tons of these things. Like you get them when you go to events, and basically it's just there to like be, oh yes, I'm a VIP, I get these things, and it's always cool as like a creator to keep track of them. Yeah. I know some people like pin them up on boards and stuff. I try and keep them on a display.
Okay, so
but yeah, Overwatch Archives. So they showed it all off to the YouTubers.
Yeah, I got an Overwatch Archives one. I've got like these ones which say talent on, which are pretty funny from the World Cup. Right, but
I'm glad someone thinks
even
so.
Better ones are like this where they say pro. It's like,
oh yeah, I had one of those as well. That was really good. That.
Oh, this one, look at that one. That's Tottenham Hotspur versus Man City. See, it says Cloud9 on it on the back, maybe Cloud9.
Ooh, that
was a very special VIP booth. See, it's got pitch side and tunnel access. You could walk down the pitch with that. Crazy. Loads of BlizzCon ones, which are like pro player. It's really cool. Like, it is nice to look back at this stuff. 2016 media. It's so cool. Oh, this one. This is the fancy one. This is Overwatch League Grand Finals VIP thing, which this got you everywhere, like literally everywhere. This was ridiculous. Yeah, a lot of things. But I think in a few years I'll come back and I'll look at this and be like, I remember back in my day.
You realize, like, holy shit, I've been so many places. I've been to tons of places. But we went to Rialto in the video game that we are talking about. We went to Retribution, which had, like, a lot of cool skins, but it also had, like, it was a really good event. Like, it really felt like a good fleshed out co-op mode. It was still a little bit bare bones, but it introduced, like, all the new enemy types. It introduced all the new mechanics. It was really pretty good. So, like, it was really, really
When we
solid.
went to the event for that, I was already in LA, I think, because I was already doing Overwatch League stuff with Spitfire. And then I just was sort of tagged onto the end, I'll go to the Retribution event. So I went. Obviously, they asked me to go. I went to the event, and it was pretty cool because it's the first time I've seen... I'd been to the Blizzard campus, so what they did is they gave us a bit of a tour around all the team buildings. They wouldn't let us look in Diablo. That was pretty funny because everyone at the time was like, oh, Josh, there must be an amazing Diablo game being made. They won't even let us go in the building. It's like, oh my God, it must be Diablo 4. But then it turns out like, hey guys, got phones. Anyway,
It's just a video call to China.
Yeah. Can we reskin your game for maximum profit? Anyway, you wouldn't let us in. I got to look at the Jim Raynor statue for StarCraft 2. I was like, this is cool. The Warcraft bit, yeah, whatever, Warcraft. And I'm just rolling around. It's all fun. It's all beautiful. Then we get into the Team 4 office because it's kind of upstairs. It's in one of the bigger buildings, but it's upstairs. You go upstairs, and it was cool to see the big Play Overwatch logo on the wall. I'm like, this is cool. Oh, before all this, we did like a little thing in the auditorium where they did a little sort of show for us, and they showed us the trailer. And obviously we got to play it like a week before the event came out, which was pretty cool as well. So they showed us all of the stuff. Obviously we couldn't take any pictures, and we couldn't, League cast would be thrown off the campus. We had to sign all of these crazy documents and everything. Anyway, actually a funny little thing with that is when we were coming out of the arena, not the arena, the auditorium. Jeff was like the last one to come out, and I was loitering around the back. I was talking to somebody about something, and he just comes behind me and he's like, "Hey, Sty, let's take a selfie." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Okay, let's do it." Because like I met him a few times before, but I'm always like, I don't like asking people for selfies, which is really stupid because people ask me for selfies and I think it's the coolest thing ever. But I don't want to go up to somebody and be like, "Josh, can I please have a selfie with you, please?" Like, I don't know what it is, but I always tell people to just go in and say, "Give me a selfie," right? Anyway, but whatever. We did a selfie, and I think I put it on Instagram, which might have been around the time I started using my Instagram account again. Anyway, whatever. So, yeah, we went into the offices, and they'd set up an area, which I think now that area is used for the streamer creator place. They've got that creator program. That area.
Yeah. They have like a
it was
special
sort of like
area.
It was under construction at the time, and I could think of it. That's probably what they were doing. Like they were putting in new partition walls and stuff like that. And it was towards the back of the office, and we wasn't allowed to walk through the office because they said they're working on stuff, and it was all taped off, and we weren't allowed in there. We went in, we played the game. It was pretty cool, and then we went out and had like a big barbecue outside, like in the where the orc statue is, like the main entrance to the campus. And then we went back in and had like a various like developer roundtables. And I remember sitting there for one of them. And one of the things which really got me is when they were asked how long it took them to make the event, and they said it basically took a year to make this event. I was like, oh God, because I'm thinking if it takes them a year to make this, which I think is good, right? But also you're kind of done with it, in a day or 2 days. You know what I mean? I'm like, I was a bit worried, Josh. Honestly, I was, because I thought, is it really that difficult? Is it about difficulty? Is it about size of the team? Is it about, like, I had all these questions which I knew I would not get answers to. Like, I wanted to be, so why does it take this long? Why can't you make the events faster? Do you think this is enough content to keep people interested for long term as the event's running and all of this stuff? Which, I mean, it was the best event of the year, and nobody can go against that based off the amount of content it had, the new features it brought in with the map. And even things like, I remember them telling us about the dropships, because the first thing I said, and you guys can actually see on the wall there, behind the finger there, that is a XCOM dropship from the new XCOM. That is exactly what the dropships look like for Talon. And I'm like, you have ripped that off. and they said to me, we've got some XCOM fans in the office. I was like, yeah, right, I know. Anyway, apparently that mechanic, to program that with them coming in and dropping out, took a lot of effort because the game engine wasn't designed for that. So all of this stuff is going on. But it was really cool to go there. It's the only time I've been there, but we did spend all day there, so it was pretty funky. But yeah, it was a cool event. I just wish... In fact, actually, Josh, I've got another relic from that event.
Ooh, let's see what Sty's got in his magic treasure trove. It's like watching like a kids' TV program. Now, what does Stylosa have in his bookcase? Oh, look, he's got a secret dossier.
I did a naughty thing with this.
And it's all
I did a naughty thing with this. So they gave me this, and they said, well, they gave it to everybody, but we all had different bits redacted, as Josh just said. So if you look in there, can you see that? It was supposed to be like a little thing where all the creators could get together and compare theirs and go, oh, well, I've got missing words here, but you've got missing words, in other bits and pieces. But nobody bothered, which is pretty funny, right? We were just like, you can tell what it is. Who cares? We'd seen the cinematic and all that. Anyway, we'd asked if we could take pictures of this and put it onto, Twitter and whatever. And they were like, yeah, sure. So took a picture of it, put it on Twitter. I was like, hey, guys, check it out. And it's a picture of this, like, crazy, like, fancy dossier. And
Black
then, like,
logo.
and like, all the memorandum, record info, just little snippets of it. It was cool. And then a guy from the back of the bus, because we were driving from Irvine back to, I think they were taking them on a tour, actually, of the Blizzard Arena. So we were going from Irvine to Burbank, which, guys, if you've not been to LA, it's not really a massive drive, but because of LA traffic, it's like 2 hours, well, it's like I think it was almost 3 hours. It was a ridiculously long drive. It was just ridiculous. Anyway, we're driving up there, and the internet is absolutely terrible in LA on my phone. It is the worst ever. You get 4G if you're lucky. Most of the time, it's abysmally slow. So I put these tweets out. Blizzard man went over the back and he's like, Sty, what are these tweets? And I'm like, what do you mean? I said I was told I could tweet these pictures out. It'd be fine. And they're like, no, like that's not fine. And I'm like, I've got my phone and I'm showing the guy on my phone. I'm like, yeah, but it's already got like 3,000 retweets or something. I said, even if I delete the tweet, it kind of don't matter. And they're like, oh no, we've got to delete the tweet. I'm like, what the hell? Anyway, it turned out in the end that it was a lot of confusion. Different people have been told different things, so it kind of was okay in the end. But it was, yeah, so this to me, it's funny because I just remember the look on the guy's face coming up to me like, oh my God, what have you done? And I'm like, what? I mean, this is not exactly a leak, is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's...
Anyway.
Oh well. But also with April, like alongside Retribution, we got a new, much desired feature added to the game, which was the Avoid Player feature was finally added. So then you could start dodging people. In particular, one figure who sort of became somewhat notorious in the community for a while, which was Fuey, who was
one of these,
Torpedo
didn't he?
Very nice bloke, very level-headed bloke as well. Yeah, he sort of ended up being mass avoided as well. Basically, you started getting warnings as well on your account saying, like, lots of people are avoiding you, perhaps you should change your ways and stuff like that. Fuey basically shrugged it off, saying that he doesn't want to play with people that don't want to play with him, which I think is fair enough and about as rational a decision as you could probably make in that situation. And yeah, it's a good feature. I really like the Avoid Player feature. I make very liberal use of it, especially if someone's tilted on my team. I make sure to avoid them so they're not in my next game, because tilted people, for some reason, still play the game, like after they've already tilted. So just make sure that you're avoiding those players. And yeah, I think it's honestly like one of the better changes they've made overall is that feature.
I think it only had 2 avoid slots as well at the time, and now it's got 3. It's still okay, but I think it needs more. But anyway, we'll get onto that later, maybe. So yeah, it was a cool feature, and I remember Avoid Player. I think when did the LFG system? Is this when LFG came in as well? No, later.
LFG came in
'cause I think
later.
that was June or July. I remember talking to Jeff.
LFG came in, I think, at the same time as endorsements as well, and this was like added quickly, and then the other 2 came in.
I guess we get to that anyway. So, what did we get after this?
Yes.
Horizon, was it? Was that the next thing?
Horizon Lunar Colony accidentally got added to the PTR, so that just triggered rife speculation. Just a little bit of a whoopsie, but everyone was like, hey, yeah, no, that looks really good. So, yeah, good job. Definitely a lot better than it used to be. Lucio got a couple of changes as well, just basically got reverted on a bunch of changes. His aura was made smaller, now it's made bigger again. Stuff like that, Ampered Up was made better. Then when we start going into May, like, it's just mostly, again, hero balance stuff starts coming through. Brigitte continues to be nerfed. She's been basically non-stop nerfed since her inception, and now more nerfs start coming in, not any of the major ones that we've had recently, but just a couple of things coming down. Ana starts getting some love finally as well, where she can now start shooting through heroes. Very good change.
A huge thing for Ana, because she was just completely unusable throughout all of dive meta, which is what was basically the prominent meta in the game up until this point, really. I mean, Brig came in to counter that, but Brig was
we were really in the sniper meta at that time as well, like dive meta, sniper meta, stuff like that. So Widow Hanzo started coming. I think at that point it was still dive meta, and yeah, you just ended up shooting like Winstons in the back when you're trying to heal, Genjis and stuff like that, and it was just frustrating. Some people were like concerned, oh, you can't pre-heal quite as much, but it's still like a worthwhile trade-off.
I remember like thinking there was a lot of discussion about being able to fire through barriers, because that was really screwing up Ana quite a bit. But the solution they came up with is actually quite elegant, and it does make Ana a lot more enjoyable to play. Obviously, Ana's in the meta right now, but that's because of other reasons, really. But just giving her the ability to fire through targets with full HP was actually quite nice. It was quite when you look back at the year, that actually is quite a really nice, elegant fix, really.
Yeah, it was a really good change. I mean, it wasn't the change that sort of swung her back in, but it definitely was like a good step in the right direction. After that one, we finally get Rialto added as a proper map rather than just in the event map. People still kind of don't know what to make of Rialto. Like, it feels like it needs some tweaks on like the first part of the map. It feels like you either get hold at the first corner
it's meant
or
to be
at
getting
the end.
updated. Now, I don't know what's going on with this, because there's meant to be updates coming in for the after the first checkpoint. So in that area there where it's kind of open on the bridge, there was meant to be things done to that, and all kinds of stuff was discussed. And this was a while ago. I remember making a video on this. It was based on some comments made by Jeff Goodman, I think, on the forum. But it's like, yeah, that's not actually come out yet. Rialto as a map, I think, is actually fairly decent. When I load into Rialto, I'm like, hey, it's cool. I kind of you know, I don't really have any issues with it. It's not like if I'm loading into like a 2CP map where generally I'm like, oh, for God's sake, I can't, you know, deal with this sort of thing. But yeah, I think it's fine. What I really liked, though, about Rialto was the way it was introduced with Retribution and then went into the game. Because we made a video recently on the idea of having events that actually tie together or you know, persist, content that persists beyond the event. And Rialto, it was a nice way of doing that, going, hey, here's a map, guys, which is a lore map, a new lore map. It's got a bit of story with it. We've got our in-game cinematic that we had with it. We've got the whole Retribution event. But then, guys, when the event goes away, you still get the map. That, I think, is quite nice. Still, I'd like to be able to just play these PvE events whenever, because I've, you know, but then again, that's Blizzard probably would never do that because they want to create the demand for the loot boxes and all of that stuff. But here's hoping that at some point in the future they move away from loot boxes, the main monetization system for it. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, who knows? May also saw probably one of the biggest events in the year and one of my personal favorites, which was the addition of the pink Mercy skin for the Breast Cancer Research Fund charity. Ended up raising like $12.7 million or a little bit more than that, I think, at the end of the day. Like, huge charity effort, really nice skin overall, but people were just giving and giving and giving and giving. Really sort of powerful moment for the Overwatch community as a whole, and like genuinely a good charity as well. Like, I myself come from a pharmacology background. I come from like a scientific drug industry background, and BCRF is like a legit charity. Like, the money is going to researchers, the money is going to people who will make a difference, and it was a really, really nice event that sort of helped bring the Overwatch community together and sort of helped solidify like those ideals that Overwatch are meant to have. You know, sort of helping people, like these people helping people. And so, yeah, I was super sort of blown away with that one.
I wonder where they go next, because I know they're very proud of what they achieved with that, and they should be. But, you know, where do they go next? What charity next? I don't know. It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, it was certainly a good one. At that point, I think we were, like, the Hanzo changes had come in by that point, so we were in the middle also of the meta where Hanzo was just dragon striking everything with a Mercy damage amping him and killing people through transcendences. Finally, that was nerfed as well in May. So that one finally gets curb stomped. It's still kind of in that meta at the time. So
also, that was the old grav as well with the massive suction. And it just pulled everybody in, and then it was just like, oh, we're all dead. Yeah, I remember that. Because I know Josh doesn't really like Hanzo, but I actually don't mind playing Hanzo. I got a cold from Bo.
God, no, I hate it. I hate Hanzo. I play him. I play him quite a lot because you have to play him if you want to play DPS. He's a good pick quite often, but I really don't like his design, unfortunately. So yeah, just like meta slowly shifting away from Dragon Strike grab combos, wombo combos, slightly nerfed. Support start feeling relevant again is the big thing from that. Like Transcendence actually feels like it does something, which is nice because it's kind of an important ultimate. Overwatch Anniversary finally rolls around in May, comes with a ton of new skins, comes with all the items coming back, and also we did some baking. And my mum was on your channel.
We did, yeah. We did the anniversary cake competition. Like, I remember, do you remember the year before, though, where we did the whole thing in Krefeld in Germany? And
yes,
my German accent is terrible. Ja, das ist gut. Das ist schlecht. Ja.
Achtung. That's literally all I know.
Anyway, yeah, it was good. This year, I mean, anniversary event is a weird event, really. Like, It's a good idea on paper, right? Where it's like, let's just celebrate the game. If we can sort of bring the community together and then just, I don't know, go forward with that. I like the way that they bring out all of the skins that they don't generally use, or any kind of skins they've been working on which don't fit into events. They just kind of drop them out. I remember the first anniversary event was a little bit of controversy around it, where it was the first event to just have legendary only skins, if you remember, and people were like, oh my god. It also introduced the golden loot box from Amazon, where you got the prime loot box, where you got the guaranteed golden or legendary item. Because I remember at the time people were data mining the texture pack for the golden skin, but this was back in 2017. Anyway, so for this event, honestly, Josh, it was a bit forgettable for me, really. I mean, beyond making the cake, which was really cool, the in-game stuff.
The in-game, like, the only thing that was really notable with the in-game stuff was they added Petra, but they also added a ranked free-for-all queue into the arcade, and that made me excited, because it's like, oh my god, they've added something to the arcade that actually feels shiny and new.
I forgot that was linked into the event. Yeah, and Petra is
and
a decent map.
Petra is kind of it's okay.
Not as good as Shadow.
It's like I prefer Chateau. I definitely feel happier loading into Chateau Gilliard. But Petra is, it's fun. It looks nice. But the ranked free-for-all queue, I was like, oh my god, they've added something really innovative here. They're adding a new ranked queue into the arcade rotation. I think that's the first time they'd actually done that. They added ranked Lucio Ball later on, and we'll get to that. But it's like, if they're doing this, then suddenly, hey, they can experiment. They can actually do some cool stuff with that. And I was happy with it.
Yes, but a lot of people weren't really, because it just devolved into McCree and Roadhog.
So that's free for all. That's free for all in a nutshell, I suppose.
Well, I might be a support main, and I don't play these heroes, so why would I play this mode? And then, but yeah, for
it's not so much the mode itself for me. It's more like the idea that they can add in secondary keys. They can add in secondary game modes.
The underlying kind of technology was built to say, look, we can have all of this random competitive mini series going off. Which, I think we had the team free for all recently, which is pretty cool. The team deathmatch, basically.
Yeah. And that's kind of it for, I think, May. In June, I think this is when Role Select finally got added, and the new Symmetra got added to the PTR. Everyone was confused by the new Symmetra. Everyone is still confused by the new Symmetra. No one still kind of knows what to do with her. She still pops up occasionally here and there, but most of the time it's like, can we have something else? Something that's not really
I remember
confusing.
this month, because this was the month of, we're going to get guilds, we're going to get this, we're going to get that, and then it turned into LFG now, and the endorsement system as well. I remember I made the video with Jeff where we just spoke about endorsements and LFG. What's the plan for it, where we're going in the future, blah, blah, blah. And essentially it was, they know the game needs some sort of structure to it because it is a little bit of a free-for-all, but they're obviously very glacially slow at implementing this stuff. Now, it's June. What month is it now, Josh? We're recording this in December. We still haven't had any changes to the LFG system at all. There's literally been nothing to it. And it's really worrying, right? Because you notice players' habits change over time. As Overwatch gets older, and I notice my habits change with the game, I used to sit here and religiously play the game like crazy. Don't do that now. Honestly, don't do that now. There are literally... I used to play Overwatch every day without question. Now there's times where I might not even play it for 2 days, and then I'll play Overwatch for a few hours. I never used to be like that, And there's a lot of underlying reasons why that's the case, and we're not going to go into detail in this video. We'll be here forever. We've gone into detail on videos before about it. But yeah, LFG was seen as the gateway to fixing these problems. But it's guys, that was 6 months ago.
Yeah, and I know they come out recently and said, one of the things we'd rather do than do 222 is fix the LFG system. Okay, let's see what you can do with it. But I know in that month, and also just incidentally, by the way, this is where I was really confused when I was making notes, because earlier on I'd seen that Role Select was added at some point, and then I double checked where that Role Select was added in. It turns out it was the April 1st video from that bastard over there.
Hey,
so he actually successfully trolled me 8 months later.
Delayed troll, the master plan. You guys should go back and watch the one I did for April last year as well. Oh my god, they're so good. They're so good. I think the first one included the premium report system. That was it, where you could pay to get your reports seen. So you could be like, people are like, what is this? This is so bad. I'm like, it says April Fools on the video. Anyway, I'll do one again next year, so you better be ready for it.
God. Jesus. Also, this was when Horizon Lunar Colony was updated. It was updated also with a ton of new teasers about a certain cheeky monkey that everyone was looking forward to called Hammond. No. And everyone was like, oh my god, is he a monkey? And this is when it was so much fun for me looking through the archives or the Unit Lost channel, seeing what was reported on, because apparently it was a dog and a ball. It was a monkey. It still wasn't as bad as the Sombra stuff. I'll never let Sty live down. One of the videos is titled something like Roadhog and Junkrat travel through time. And so that's what were you smoking at the time there, son? But it makes sense. It does it.
Yes,
does it really, Sty?
A picture, I believe, if I remember rightly, which was used. How they use just generic, I don't know, items in the background or whatever. But there was a picture that was in both places, but couldn't have possibly been there or something. So clearly, the logical solution to this is Junkrat and Roadhog had gone back through time.
Oh god, this is just there's a brilliant clip in The Simpsons or somewhere when when Itchy plays his xylophone as a skeleton, he hits the same rib twice and it produces 2 clearly different notes. Are we to believe that this is a magical xylophone? That is the level of nerdery happening right there.
Amazing. Oh yeah, I remember the Hammond stuff. It was oh my god.
Yeah, so it's a dog, and then it was a monkey, and then it was a super monkey ball for a while because we just got teased with like a ball.
Yeah, I remember the teaser. Yeah,
no real extra details, and then eventually we got to see that Hammond was what he was, which was a hamster, and everyone was like, "What?" Which that I think came at the end of July though. That took a little while because in July, Sombra got her massive rework, so Infinite Stealth came out. Everybody freaked out about that. Myself included. I love the new Sombra. Sombra is one of my favorite heroes to play. It's just I never get to play her because people don't like playing.
So good luck playing her in Overwatch.
Yeah. People don't like playing stuff that's a little bit off the wall or a little bit difficult. Sombra, incredibly powerful hero at the moment, but doesn't get used because shooting people is easier, and so path of least resistance.
It's not even that. It's not even that, Josh. It's just all you need for Sombra to work is your team has to attack when you tell them to, basically, because you're behind, right? You're going to maybe set up a hack on the Reinhardt, and then you go, guys, I will hack him, then you push, and they just don't listen, so they do what they like. Or you go, I have EMP, I will engage with EMP, and then we will engage team. Yeah. And the team are like, nah, mate.
Or you just shout, Diva hack, kill Diva, yeah. Diva, and then nothing happens.
Where the team was set up before it went into the game with a Sombra player, and they were going to play around the Sombra player, you'd have the time of your life. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, Sombra was seriously meta. Still kind of does bounce in and out. Like, we still have Canada comp. She's still pretty good overall. So, like, I think she's in a much better place than she was. Then we moved on to July. So Sombra changes. Hammond was finally shown off. So people got to see Hammond. Everyone was instantly confused. He showed up on the PTR straight away. I still love Hammond's, like, I love how he moves. I love how he flows. I just still don't know what he does. Like, I don't know what he's for. He mildly annoys people, including his own team, in my mind. He can get, like, if he's allowed to get away with a ton of stuff, then maybe he can start drilling people down, but I still don't see why you take him over Zarya or Diva, or in the main tank role, Reinhardt or Winston. Personally, I think he just needs some love.
I don't know. He's just like he's like a hero they've made because they wanted to make him, but they just knew he would have, like, no impact on the game, basically. It's like, yeah, we want to make a hamster in a ball with a grappling hook and a minefield, and it's got crazy movement abilities, and it's got shield, and it's got machine guns as well, and then let's do it. And that's what happened.
There was also an instant controversy over, is he called Hammond? Is he called Wrecking Ball? I think now everyone calls him just Hammond or
Jeff
Ball.
Came out and was like, you can call him whatever you like. Because I think for a while, they were telling the casters to refer to him
as
Wrecking Ball, because that's his name. And it's like, what?
And there is no way you can do smooth play-by-play by going, oh, and the Wrecking Ball is setting... Like, it's so much harder to keep that in mind.
Especially when about casters.
Everybody calls it Hammond.
Yeah, it's either Ball or Hamster or Hammond. Kill the ball.
Like, the call-out is Ball. Same as the call-out for Winston is Monkey. Like, monkey, ball. Like, that's all it is. So, yeah, it's simple and it's clear. That's why. We also saw the Overwatch League finals, which we were both at, had a great time in New York, and was one hell of an event. Yeah. Also, DJ Khalid turned up as well. Oh, that was amazing.
Oh my god! I'm like, so did you ever go behind the stage? I think you might have done it. Did you? Yeah.
Yes, I went with you, but not while stuff was happening. But
he's around there and he's like
kicking off,
like getting hyped. It's like, what's going on here? Does he not know what's going to happen?
I was in the middle of the crowd, like literally in the middle of like the main floor, and it was just like he was just doing all of like sing it and then just silence. And he would, and it was like, and he was just sing it.
Boo!
One or two people maybe
abysmal.
Who knew the song, but
I imagine
nothing. It
what
was
happened
just
with that is somebody went, hey guys, we need to get a pop act on the stage because it's going to be real cool and it's going to launch our event. Oh my god, who's available right now? Get the phone out. Who's free? Some guy called DJ Khalid. He wants $200,000 to come on the stage. I don't know what he wanted, but probably something stupid like that. Let's get him. Oh my god. And that's what happened. And then he walked out onto the stage, and it was like a bit of a joke. Yeah, he's also really small as well. But anyway, it was terrible.
I mean, the finals themselves
were great. Oh god,
were great.
Yeah. So,
like,
I mean, for me, this was like a massive thing because I went to New York for 2 weeks. Actually, it was about 15 days, so I went for a pretty considerable time. So I did the whole.
Jesus, yes.
What's your problem, son?
Well, it's because I have vivid memories, right? I got off the plane. Sty had been in New York for about 5-6 days before then, so he'd done like all the tours about 7 times. I got off the plane, dropped off my stuff at the hotel, and so I was like, yeah, come out, I'll show you around Manhattan. And we walked all the way around Lower Manhattan with Sty being the tour guide. He knew everything. Every single intricate detail of Manhattan. I was just fresh off the plane, exhausted as hell, just like, fuck, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently.
It was good.
I'm
was
never
good, though.
fresh.
Like New York.
Never believe me if I say I'm fresh. It was great.
I think
New
it's
York
been the
was
best
awesome.
place I've visited this year, with Seoul close behind it, and then LA, whatever. Who cares about LA? But yeah, it was really cool, that event was, to just see the whole, like, the scale of the Overwatch League finals. I hope they can do something similar next year for it. Like, I hope they do. But it was a bit surreal for me, because I always say this to everybody when I'm at Overwatch events. Like, I remember when I was at the very first event, the very first LAN in the West. I think it might have actually been the first LAN full stop, and it was the Atlantic Showdown, at Gamescom, and it was really small. But it's funny, like, you know, like Uber, the Overwatch League caster, was cast in that event. There was quite...
We Uber and JCap.
Yeah, but JCap then didn't.
I think Rogue won that one as well.
Yeah, they did, because it was Rogue with Tvik, wasn't it? And all that.
Yes.
Anyway, old school Overwatch esports. But I was there and I watched that event, and I didn't plan to watch it because I was there to do Iconvolt and all of that stuff. But I remember it was like right at the end of the Gamescom, so I went over and just watched it, and it was cool and like all of that stuff. But then, like, every other event I've been to, watching it get bigger. Like, I remember going to the World Cup the next year, where it was like, wow, look at this is massive, because that was the first time they used the arena at Anaheim for 2017. And I was like, wow, this is just massive. And then you go forward to, well, ultimately, I guess, the final of Overwatch League. And again, I'm like, this is just ridiculous. And I actually went out onto the stage as well after Spitfire won, because what they said to us is they want everybody to, you know, who's associated with the team, to just go out on the stage. And I'm like, cool, let's do it. And it made me laugh after the fact, because I remember when I got back to my hotel room, actually it was the next day, I'd woke up in my hotel and I turned the TV on, and I think it was on ABC or something, but they were doing this like rundown or like recap of the Overwatch League finals, but it was just at the end, and it was like me walking around on the stage. So I filmed it on my phone. I was like, look, I'm on American telly. It was pretty funny. Obviously, I'm just like an idiot going like this on the stage, but hey, it was funny. Yeah, it was cool. Like, I know we got the pleasure of seeing the rehearsals, didn't we? And like just being around it before it starts.
Yes.
And it is a bit surreal when you see the setup, and then you see like how it's empty, then you see it full. And it's nice to have those opportunities.
See how much work goes into it.
Yeah, it's
like
massive.
So much work. So many people behind the scenes that made that stuff work. So many people just like everything has to be tested. Everything has to be checked. Like they were constantly having issues with, like, one of the main screens and stuff like that. They sort of managed to get it working, but you could see like everybody just super busy getting it up and running. And they put on a really good show. It was great live. The environment was fantastic. The fans were awesome. It was brilliant. Like I had a great time there. And yeah, hopefully they can match it next year. I really hope so. I live with that hope, and I will hold on to that hope.
We'll have to wait and see.
Otherwise, eventually, like, Anna finally got her nano buff as well very recently after, so then Anna started coming in. Like, people were really down on that change of, like, the nano
heal.
boost giving you instant full health. Yeah, but then it turned out that, well, it means that you used to run into a problem where, like, you'd have Winstons and they'd be on, like, 100 hit points, you'd nano boost them, and they'd just die, but now you just get that instant whack of health, and suddenly she became meta. Like, she just launched back into the meta, comes back straight away. Summer Games then kicked off in August, and people found that one, like, that was where it really felt like, okay, this is starting to get old.
It's the oldest event, isn't it, as well, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all I'm going to say on that is it cannot be the same for next year. If it is, then Jesus Christ, Blizzard, what the hell?
They need to do something new with that one. And, like, I know, like, the skins on that one, I don't know about you, but, like, I see a lot of the American football Reinhardt and stuff, but, like, American football doesn't interest me at all. Lacrosse isn't a European sport, so the Roadhog skin kind of falls flat. I think the Winston's like a baseball catcher.
I think it was the
and
weakest
so it's like
event for
that.
skins. Again, that's subjective, but for me personally, I think it was weakest event for skins. There wasn't really anything I was like, oh my god, I've absolutely got to have that. I mean, they were nice. Like, I don't have the Reinhardt skin because I wasn't really interested. I think his weapon looks really silly. The big cup he's hitting people with.
Yeah, the big trophy. And he had like a thing where the voice line was different so that you couldn't hear him. Because normally he starts saying the voice line.
When
and
he
then,
did Earth Shatter.
But then after, with that one, he already had done the Earth Shatter, and then the voice line came out. So there was like a mechanical reason to use the skin. Oh my god, is it pay to win now?
It's the skin meta.
Who knows? Yep. Pretty much immediately after, World Cup finally got started with the first stage. South Korea versus Finland was sort of quite close due to a certain meta that had bubbled out of European contenders and it started entering the mainstream more and more and more. This little thing called GOATs started looming over the game, sort of really, really starting to entrench its claws into the game, starting to take over. Eventually, Busan was revealed at an event that you were at in South Korea.
This is really cool.
So what happened there?
This
what was that about?
At the same time Gamescom was on this year. So it was really cool how Blizzard did this, because normally they would say, hey, we've got an event, we want you to go to it, and that's all they'd say. Like, they don't go, hey, we've got this event, it includes all of this stuff, here you go, Mr. Stylosa, you'll surely not make a video on everything we've just told you. But so they're very vague, right? And I was like, okay, this must be Gamescom, whatever. And then I remember they sent me an email, and it was like, yeah, you need to travel to South Korea. I was like, what? I said, I need to go where? And they're like, yeah, it's going to be South Korea. I was like, okay, I'll go to South Korea. And I did. So this event was really cool. So a bunch of the devs were there. It was called the Korean Fan Fest. It was hosted by Inven, which is like a Korean gaming forum. If you're into esports,
basically
Reddit,
Korean
kind of,
Reddit, sort of.
They have these little Inven trucks as well, driving around with Inven Row. It's pretty funny. Anyway, it was hosted by them. I think it was done through the Blizzard Korea, which is like its own company. It's like a pretty big setup, because obviously StarCraft is a popular game, guys, in South Korea. So yeah, the whole event was really cool. The thing that really got me is I thought I could just be some guy who nobody knows who the hell I am, right? I just walk around like, whatever, this will be cool. But no, they knew who I was. It was really unsettling. They're like, hey, and I'm like, yo, how's it going? And then they all take selfies and whatever. And they were calling me, I forget what it was called, but it was some sort of slang thing, which meant first, like the person who will be the first to report on like a forum post or news update for Overwatch. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah.
Are you sure it's not just,
like, what the hell? It was so cool.
Certain vulgar words that I'm not going to say on the video.
It was really cool. But yeah, I was really surprised, because that is the only properly sort of foreign place I've been to. Every other country has some sort of understanding of English, right? And I'm not saying Koreans don't speak English, because I know a lot of Koreans that speak fluent English. But when you go there, I properly felt like, oh my God, I'm like, well, if it wasn't for Google Translate on my phone, I would be screwed beyond all belief. Because even simple stuff like getting in a taxi, because there's no, well, I think, was there Uber? There might have been Uber, but the taxis were better than Uber, because they had like their own taxi app and everything. And I'm trying to explain, I need to go to the COEX something center, and they're just like, and I'm like, oh God. So I've got my phone out and I'm like showing them it, and it really saved my life. But it was a really cool place to go. What I'll say about Korea is it's very clean, very, very clean. I was really impressed with how everybody seems to look after where they live, which, you know, like, yeah, in some places
just looking,
it's not like that. So I really want to go back there again. Didn't enjoy the flight, it's got to be said. It was a pretty long flight to get to South Korea. But yeah, the event was really cool. So they showed the Diva cinematic. Now, what they did was they brought us into a big room, and they didn't actually... I think they might have used that arena for some stuff. Did they? Maybe they did. Yeah, they did. I think they did. They did the whole... they had the K-pop band on the stage, because it was streamed, wasn't it? Because they streamed it on Twitch. I'm sure they did, yeah. Because they had... Wolf and Achilles from Overwatch Korea Contenders were doing the casting of the event. It was really cool. But anyway, they showed us before the event started, so the day before. I think it was the day. I'm sure it was the day before. Or was it the same day? I don't know. Time's just one big mess to me. But they showed us the Diva cinematic. The director for the Diva cinematic came on and explained why they made it, how they made it. Then we had an opportunity to do a load of interviews with the developers. Then the Korean press just had a chance to ask the questions to the devs, and I've got to say they are quite brutal. They go straight in and ask the realest of real questions, basically. Like, what are you doing about boosters?
Good.
What the hell is going on the ladder? You know, and they're just really slamming them with like the good questions. And they're just getting PR responses back, which was unfortunate, but hey. And then we sort of just kind of had like this like mini sort of cool event where there was a bit of Lego shown off. They didn't have the Nerf guns there at the time, which we were a bit disappointed about, because we wanted to shoot them. There was a load of cosplay. It was a really good cosplay competition, actually. And Koreans could rival British people for queuing up. I've got to say that, because they really like getting into a queue. Because I noticed, I don't know, disrespect to my American friends, but normally if you go to an event in America, there's a lot of barriers that kind of control where you go, right? You can't enter through the exit, for example. You have to queue this way and that way, and you get corralled into corners. This event was literally the doors had opened, right? There was no barriers or nothing. It was just like everybody could rush in. Now, if this was BlizzCon or something like that, the moment the doors opened, there would be a stampede, right? No. The doors opened here, and everybody's just like in a beautiful line coming through. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, there was also, as well, they had a load of custom Nike sneakers that were made by this artist in Korea. They were not protected in any way. They were just on pedestals. Like, you could take them, right? Nobody took them. So little things like this you notice, and it's like, hey, that's really cool. That's really cool. So it was a really nice place to go. It was really warm, and then a typhoon came in. But that we got sort of the edge of the typhoon, and luckily it missed Seoul and Incheon, because the airport's in Incheon. So I could still get my flight out when I needed to get out, and I wasn't going to be trapped there for. Not that would be a bad thing. I mean, we actually went to some nice food places as well. We tried to make a point of going to actual Korean, food places, not like touristy places, because everywhere's like, it's got tourist traps, right? It's like, hey, go into this restaurant, go into that restaurant. We were like, no, we're going to go down a load of back alleys and find a real Korean restaurant, and we did. And the food we had in there, it was so spicy, it almost killed me. I was going to die, but I was, you know that sensation you get when it's so hot, but you just want more. And you just keep going for more. But it's killing you. And I'm thinking, this is probably, my Crohn's is not going to be good. But I'm just going to keep going. And I'll keep going. It was so nice. But yeah, that was a really cool. Actually, yeah, it was really cool. That was to do that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people also came out of the event from sort of just, being sat at home. They saw a whole pile of new heroes available as well with, the mecha crew. I still think Demon needs to be added. Demon is such a good name that you need to add that one in, because holy hell, that's so good. So I still hold out for Demon one day. Finally, just rounding out the rest of the month, September rolls around. USA dominate their group in the World Cup. New Torbjorn finally gets revealed as well. Starts spraying hot loads all over the place. Just showing his stuff, covering everything in goo. Everything gets a bit Splatoony as well for a little while. New Torbjorn, I really like him. I actually think he's way, way better than he used to be. He feels viable. He feels strong. I don't groan when I get Torbjorn on defense. I groan
now. Well, not that it was a throw.
I still groan when he's on offense, but defense, he feels good. He feels actually pretty good now to have. And yeah, you've got a hammer apparently. Don't know why someone's giving you a hammer.
He was a bit of a throw troll kind of pick, right? I know there were people out there that played Torb and they played him well, like Fuey, like we spoke about earlier on. But yeah, like now less so. If you get a Torb on your team, it's still not. I hate using the word optimal, because maybe the guy who plays Torb is just better than Torb than with any other DPS, for example. Yeah. But yeah, I think Torb and Sim are always going to suffer from the fact that their builders in this game is a very fast-moving game, and it's... How do you make them work, Josh? Who knows?
Yeah, it's very, very tough when especially the enemy team can just sit back, build up 6 ultimates, and just storm through you as well. Builders don't have that active component to them, so we'll see how it goes, but definitely feels better than he was before. Team UK almost end up smashing the group stage in Paris, aside from the French themselves. It was one hell of an event. The French crowd was probably the best crowd that I've ever seen. I know me and Sty were sat in the front row with tons of French people just chanting the national anthem. Just incredible atmosphere though, really, really good time, really good event. Team UK themselves performed extremely well, really happy with the lads there. And then finally, October rolls around, Halloween event comes through, and Halloween event kind of
because it was just the same Junkenstein's Revenge. This really annoyed me, this did. I was expecting to see a different area of the map used, or something added to Junkenstein's Revenge, instead of, you can play a couple more different heroes now. Because let's be honest, all they've done is just enable Hero 5, enable Hero 6, or whatever, and then you could just pick extra heroes. That was it. Because remember we had there was the comic, wasn't there, with Widowmaker in, I believe, and it had some other people in. I don't know whether that came...
You mean
No,
Masquerade?
it was a Junkenstein specific one. It might have been last year.
I know,
but it had new stuff in it. It had new stuff in it.
Yeah, there's a ton of new voice lines they added as well, and all this extra dialogue.
But I was
and
disappointed.
Stuff, but it doesn't.
I was so disappointed because it was just Junkenstein's Revenge again, which is okay if you want to kind of warm yourself up. The problem is you just play free for all now, which is way better than Junkenstein's Revenge anyway, because that wasn't available the last time Junk's Revenge was available. So major disappointment again, event-wise.
Let's see. Mercy gets a buff to her Valkyrie healing outputs. She's still not really played because Goats is basically intrenching stuff. Lucio O's turn out to be real.
Yeah.
So that sort of people go, oh my god, they're actually real. They're actually a real thing. BlizzCon hype starts to build. People start noticing changes to Route 66, and people start going, McCree might be a big thing. McCree might be involved somehow at the BlizzCon release. And then we get to BlizzCon, basically
it was so
in
obvious
November.
that McCree would be involved in something because Blizzard always change maps before they introduce cinematics. So if a major element to a map changes, probably because something in a cinematic is going to explain what the hell has just happened, and they want the game world to look the same. The lucky thing with this is they tend to update the PTR before, so you get to see. This is where all that speculation came from. Yeah, and we go into BlizzCon, Josh, and BlizzCon is a really weird one, because if you take it away from Overwatch and just look at BlizzCon as a whole, definitely the worst BlizzCon that's ever been. Like, there is no doubt. It is like the worst BlizzCon Blizzard have ever had. But for us, it's the best because UK beat USA in the World Cup. So it's like,
So in the notes here, it's like, hey, Ash, Ash in a new short. Okay, UK knock out USA.
Yeah, like
best
boom.
event.
Who
best
cares
event
about new
ever
heroes?
for us. Like,
hey, I'll tell you
Oh
about
my
that. So they were
God.
like, Sty, we've got an interview slot with the devs for you at this time, and I'm like, right. And I looked at the time and I said, I think I'll be at the World Cup, like, because like the World Cup's running at the time. They're like, we think it might just be after one of your games. I'm like, sure, okay, sure. So it was about the new hero, obviously, and I didn't know what devs was going to be there, because the way it works, like, you don't actually get, like, it doesn't say like, oh, Jeff will be here and you go to see Jeff. It's just like whatever devs are there, you just get to talk to him. So I come out of a game at the World Cup, and I go into, like, there's like a floor above, like, in the main, well, you know where it is though, Josh, but it's like a media area, and I went up there, went into a room, and it's like, yeah, let's talk about the new hero, and I'm like, yeah, I ain't played this new hero. I'm like, I've seen the video because, like, I've been in the World Cup all day, but let's have a chat about it anyway. It was interesting. I got some bits of information. I think Michael Chu said there was always going to be a robot inside the payload, and they've always planned for that. You know, we'll never be able to prove that. Who knows? But it was a nice bit of something.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe
Diva was a StarCraft player once.
Well, I had to resist the urge to go, it's just a common misconception. It was a bomb then on the payload. Because I think I'd be thrown out of the room at that point. I'm like, because you also have, like, when you talk to devs, you also have, like, a minder who's off the camera. Yeah, and he's like sitting there, like, looking at you, like they're getting ready to just basically eject you from the room or whatever. But anyway, I'm like asked about. I said, is Ash just a better McCree? And they're like, no, we don't think so. She's unique in her own way, and that's story kind of developed. But it was cool to do that. But yeah, we got Ash, we got World Cup.
Got the reunion.
Reunion.
Is it reunion? Yeah, it's reunion. Really good cinematic. I really liked it. Introduced new character as well with Ash. Introduced not Athena, Echo, Amazon Echo, I guess.
Be quiet, you'll set mine off.
Alexa, whatever she is. Oh god, yeah. So it's like, it was exciting in that regard. It still kind of felt a bit lackluster, but UK knocked out USA. I will take that every single day of the week. Oh my god,
we went into
incredible.
it like expecting loads of stuff at BlizzCon, like. There was this talk of expansions. There was like a financial report Goldman Sachs had done going, oh yeah, expected expansion of Overwatch. But that could have meant anything in financial speak. A new hero is an expansion of Overwatch. So we were getting like a bit hyped, and it was just a run-of-the-mill year for Overwatch. It wasn't really anything special. It was just like, hey, new hero, new short. Okay. Yep. What I will say,
and Ash is really good. I like
yeah.
Ash a lot. I mean, she's a really, really fun hero. She has a bit of reloading trouble, is all I'd say with her. But otherwise, she's just really fun, really satisfying to play. Probably one of the best new heroes they've added. There we go. Also, some Koreans won the World Cup.
But I got the gold medal. I'm like, cool. I didn't take it. I just was. But you will be shocked to know, ladies and gentlemen, that it was actually plastic, and I was like,
It's not real gold. Dire times of Blizzard indeed,
metal.
ladies and gentlemen.
I was like, what the hell is this? And it was not very good quality as well. I'm like, So that was the gold medal. But yeah, like the BlizzCon is. It was cool that they introduced new characters with the cinematic, but beyond that, it was just a bit of a. I don't want to say it was a letdown, because it was just like what you expected. It was the bare minimum that was required, really. So it'll be a letdown if they do that again next year.
It was a quiet BlizzCon in a quiet year, and I think that's where it kind of feels like a bit of a maybe you could have hoped for a little bit more, but you'll take what you can take. The World Cup itself was great. It was a lot of fun. I know all the players enjoyed it, and like it was a really, really good time overall. So good stuff all around. It just would like more stuff. I mean, we always want more stuff at the end of the day. November just rounds out with recent Brig nerf, so now we're starting to get into recent times, stuff that we can actually go, hey, yeah, I know about that. So the Brig changes, Doomfist changes, McCree changes.
Hang on.
Ash and Bob finally joined rank in December, and yeah.
I did the Gilded Gala thing for Spitfire in London. That was another thing I did this year. That was cool. Yeah,
you
because
did the Gilded
Gala, saying
yes.
to them, they were like, yeah, we're going to put on an event in London for the Spitfire fans to come. I'm like, that's really cool. And I was just like, yeah, I'll host it. And they were like, sure, you can host it. I'm like, now this is a good plan, isn't it? How much hosting experience do I have? But then I'm like, how hard can this be? It's got to be easy, right? And I remember, like, I said, look, I'll dress up. I'll put a suit on or whatever, because they wanted people to come sort of dressed up to it, which in hindsight was not a great idea, because firstly, people want to come in their Spitfire merchandise. And secondly, if you say fancy dress in the UK, it means come, like, with stupid like costumes on. It doesn't mean come
dressed as a Spitfire.
It doesn't mean come in like your best or whatever. So anyway, but it was cool. Anyway, I remember the sound guy came up to me and he's like, okay, and he's talking to me about the radio frequencies on the transmitter for the microphone and this and that, and I'm just like, you know, like when you know nothing about it, but you're like, yeah, sure, I got it. Nice, yeah. And I'm like, he walked off, and I'm like, I hope he hasn't said something crucial to me there, like in case my, the feed from the production just stops working. It's because I've done something and maybe I need to twist a knob or whatever, but I have no idea how to fix that, so I just would be on my own. But it turned out okay in the end, ladies and gentlemen. It was really cool though, because we had like, I think there was almost 900 people that turned up to that event, so it was really cool. And it was in London. First Spitfire event in London. It's about time. Hopefully we get to do more of those.
Yes. It certainly was an event. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it there. I was unwell. There was also just like a lot of issues going into it. So, but next time, certainly we'll figure something out. But that sort of rounds up. Now we're at where we are now. We're in sort of end of December, coming up to Christmas. Winter Wonderland comes through. Again, everyone's just kind of like, Winter Wonderland's here? Really? That's happening at the moment? But otherwise, there's your year of Overwatch.
Where do we go? Where do we go, Josh? Where do we go for
next
year?
Changed. Where do we go?
What do we need? This is what I've got.
Like,
I'm going to ask you now. Give me the real list of real answers. What do we need next year?
The realist of real answers, we need changes to help curb the frustration and toxicity in ranked. I've seen like just an overriding, I'm going to use the term zeitgeist, which just means like the spirit, the mentality of the community at the moment is one of frustration. People are frustrated and annoyed at times at other people, and that's venting out in people getting toxic and angry at each other. We need ways of solving that. We also just need some energy. We need something to come in and just energize the community again. We need something that makes people excited, makes people want to log into Overwatch, make people want to play the game again. Whether that comes through competitive changes, whether that comes from another ARG that gets everyone super hype every patch, who knows? We need something, though, that just grabs people once again and grabs that spirit that we've sort of had in the past. I just
hope that this thing Jeff referred to being, when it comes out next year, everyone will realise where they've been spending their time actually is something of substance and isn't just like a minor kind of mini thing where we're like, hey... I don't know. I am a little bit worried, I've got to be honest. But of course, the year starts with Overwatch League, basically. That's all we know so far. That in February that starts. We'll have the Lunar New Year event, and then we'll just kind of go from there, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see where it takes us. Hopefully to green.
All right, guys. I've been Stylosa, and he's been Josh. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and do click the bell and the sub button below and like the video, if of course you like the video, and comment as well. In fact, tell me what your best moment of the year has been for Overwatch. It'd be cool to read those in the comments below.
All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Toodaloo.